Hi guys, my name is Kirsty and welcome back to Upside Down Books. Today we're going to be looking at Crown of Coral and Pearl by Mara Rutherford.
Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di
So, A Crown of Coral and Pearl is a fantasy novel. I believe it is Rutherford's debut book. I could check that, I'm not going to, and I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that one. But I read this recently and I really loved it. I had originally thought that it was a Little Mermaid, retelling, but I don't think it really is. I haven't been able to confirm that, and reading the story, I'm not yes, there are similarities, but it's a pretty loose retelling, if so. So this follows the story of two girls who are twins. They live in this region of a kingdom. And this region, let's put it that way, it's like a town, it is entirely on water, so the houses are floating or on a platform, and none of them are allowed to go on land by law. So for generations, the women from this ocean village called Verenia have been sent to marry, one has been selected from each generation to marry the crown prince of Ilara, because they are supposed to be the most beautiful women, etc, etc. But it's because of this old story where a Verenian woman and an Ilaran prince, they're both drowned at sea, and that's why they can't set foot on land. It's this whole long old archaic story that is set about these rules. So this means that all of the women who grow up in Verenia have to grow up being really careful, making sure they have no blemishes in their skin, they are very dainty and delicate, they don't do any hard work, because they want to be as beautiful as possible so that they will be selected to marry the crown prince. And everyone is pretty certain that one of the twins is going to be selected because one of them is perfect and the other one got stung by this blood coral, which is the imagery on the cover here, and she has a scar on her cheek. But at the crux of the story is that the twin who is selected to go doesn't want to go, and so they swap places, and it's all about this big deception as the twin with the scar finds a way to cover up the scar and try and be in her sister's place and work out what the heck is actually going on in the world, because there's a lot more to it when we get there. And there's a wonderful love triangle because we've got the crown prince and we've got his half-brother who is he is to die for, and he obviously comes into the love triangle, and there's so much going on, so this is just wonderful. So over on Goodreads, this has just over 5,000 ratings, and the average rating comes to 3.94 stars out of 5. It was published in August of 2019, and the sequel is coming out on the 7th of October, and I'm really excited for it. I wasn't sure what to expect going into this. I felt like I didn't fully grasp the idea of the concept of the book, but once I started reading, I was really intrigued. We've got Zadie and Noor, who are the two twin sisters, and I think that they're actually really great characters. There's always sister dynamics are always really fun to read about, I reckon, and I just really enjoyed sort of exploring this world through Noor's eyes, because obviously never having left Verenia, she has a very naive and sheltered view of the world, and there's so much politics going on elsewhere. This is obviously a much bigger world with a lot of other the politics going on that we're going to continue to explore in book 2. But I really liked the dynamics and the complexities of some of the characters as well. So the crown prince is an absolute ass. He is perfect for all the people out there who like Holly Black's book The Cruel Prince, because I'm completely blanking on his name, but the main guy in that, I don't know how I've forgotten his name. He's really similar, but perhaps a little bit worse. You're not really rooting for him. He's just a perfect sort of tantrumy, immature, cruel person. That is who this crown prince is. And when you're putting him up against Noor, who has very strict morals and is a really good person, it makes for an interesting combination as they sort of try to get along, but the crown prince does not have enough patience to be kind and nice to her in the ways he should be to win her over so that she'll be happy as his bride. I think the settings were really interesting. Verenia itself was fascinating. It's sort of this poverty-stricken ocean town, and it's really struggling from having never been able to set foot on land, and they're very much so controlled by what is going on externally, and it's really, really unfair for them. But I thought it was an interesting setting that I really enjoyed picturing. And then conversely to that, I enjoyed picturing the mountain in which the castle of Ilara, where all the royals are living, is situated, because it's right inside a mountain, and most of them have incredibly fair skin because they've very rarely been outside, so they don't do very well in sunlight. They burn so quickly and really badly, and it's super interesting. And then of course there is Prince Talon. So it's Prince Seren who is the cruel one, and then there's Prince Talon who is the half-brother and the love interest of the book, and he is just everything you ever wanted. He very much so reminded me of Rhysand, so from A Court of Thorns and Roses. So if you like that dynamic between Feyre and Rhysand, maybe tone it down just a little bit because nothing is ever going to be at that level again, then I think you will find that nice sort of vibe that is happening between Nor and Talon, and you just really, really want it to happen throughout the book. It's this wonderful teasing throughout. So on the whole, I just found this a super enjoyable read, and I enjoyed the way that we are slowly and methodically going through the complex politics and why Seren is the way he is, and what is really going on with these Varenian women, and why doesn't Nor meet very many of them when she gets to the palace? What is their purpose actually? How are they really seen? How are they really treated? There's so much like mystery and intrigue layered on this, so it just makes it a really fun and addictive read. And like I said, I'm really, really looking forward to where the sequel is going to take this story, because this almost could have been a standalone with the way that the story ends as well. So I would definitely recommend that you look into picking this one up. I haven't seen very many people talking about it, which I think is a real shame, because it really is such a fantastic story. So let me know down in the comments below if you've read this or if it's on your TBR. I would love to know, but other than that, I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.
Alla gloria mia